Hello, BookTube. Welcome to Lizziefaye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and I've got some books to show you. Now, I think at this point, I'm fairly notorious for my large used book hauls, and this will not be any different than that, although I really didn't buy but maybe 2 books in the month of August. All of the rest of these came from early in September. Well, most of the rest of these. I did get a sprinkling of books throughout the month at my own public library and the sale shelves that they have up all the time, that's open whenever the library's open. But on the first Saturday of September, I went on an adventure for my sister. She's a quilter, and she is participating in the row by row experience for the 3rd time this year. And she collected kits and patterns and things from the quilt shops in her area. And I think that maybe 2 or 3 other people sent her quilt kits and patterns from a couple of other places. And so she went online and she looked at all of the quilt shops in my area, like in the radius around me, and picked out a few that she thought she would enjoy having, and then wondered if maybe I would go and pick them up. So I did, and I had a ball doing it. And I told her that she needs to come and visit me next year so we can do it together. So on the first day, I went to a town that's kind of off the beaten path from me. And while I was in the farthest place away, it was a town called Dade City. It's not a place that I usually go to, but I found out they have a used bookstore. So while I was in there, while I was in the town, I definitely had to go by and check out the used bookstore. And I found one book there that I bought. And, you know, your typical used store book prices are half off of the original price. So I paid roughly $4 for this book. This is book 7 in the Whispering Mountain series by Jody Thomas. That's a series that I'm currently in the middle of. I just started book 4 this past weekend on audio, and this is book 7, the last book in the series. It's called Promise Me, Texas, and I've really been enjoying the series. Of the 3 that I finished, I didn't care for book 2, but all the rest of them I have really enjoyed. So I am super excited to have this, and I will be listening to it on audio, but I love collecting the print books that go along with what I'm reading, especially if it's a book that I enjoy. And who knows, I may go back and read it in print one of these days. So then at the earlier though in the month, let's see, that was, I don't know whether I should tell you about the adventures of my row by row days or go back to the other stuff first. Let me backpedal just a little bit. During the month of August, I didn't really buy any other books except that one I just showed you. That was on the last day of August. But I was at my, I'm in and out of my public library all the time, and we have a big sale area, so I can't really ever walk in and out the door without just glancing over to see what they have. So I spotted a book, and I thought, oh, that looks kind of fun. That looks interesting. I looked at it. Next time I went back, it was still there, and so I came home, and I looked it up. And it was a book that my sister, who isn't really on Goodreads all that much, but she had marked it to read. And I thought, well, if she wants to read it, then I need to get it because I would probably like it too. And the book is The Lumbee Lines by Gail Fraser. And I've never heard of it before. I didn't know anything about it. I still really don't know anything about it. But it at the very top, it says Quirky Residence. And so nestled in the northwest is a quaint little town that its quirky residents are proud to call home. Well, that just about checks off all my boxes right there, my bookish boxes and buzzwords. So, of course, I had to get it. And it's the first in a series. There's 6 or 7 in the series, and I'm excited to have it. It's always fun to find new series that I'm almost positive that I will love. All right, so let me just show you a few other books, actually 3 other books that I also got off my library sale shelves, and then I'll tell you about my row by row adventure that I did for my sister. So I was excited just the other day to find 2 in the home crafting mystery series. This is Something Borrowed, Something Bleu. These are by Cricket McRae. I am still looking for the first one. I have the second book in this series, and it has canning on the front, and the cover alone drew me in. So each book is about a different type of home crafting. So this one looks like it's about cheese, and then this one is Spin a Wicked Web. It's about spinning, and I neglected to write down the number. One of these is book 3, and I think one is book 4. I'm still looking for book 1, or maybe one's book 6. I don't even know. But anyway, Spin a Wicked Web is one of them. And so this is a series I want to read. I think Di from Dice's 19 Hearts has read a couple of these. And so I definitely want to get to these at some point. And then I found an Erling Fowler book I did not have. This is book 2 in a duology. The first one is called The Saddlemaker's Wife. I haven't read it. This is called The Road to Cardinal Valley. And so I have I've been collecting her books. I've only read Love Mercy by her so far, and I have all of the Benny Harper mystery series that I want to get to hopefully pretty soon. So this is one that I didn't have that's not from Benny Harper series, but maybe there's going to be more from this series. I don't know. There's only 2 so far, so we'll see. All right, so that is everything that I got outside of the main shopping day where I shopped for books. Now, I did 3 different days, 3 different day trips for my sister, and I went to 3 different places each day to gather things for her row by row experience. So the first day I showed you, I went to a town kind of far away, and I found a used bookstore, and I got this Jody Thomas book. So the second day I was actually driving my lady that I drive for on Fridays. I took her to her hair appointment, and she wanted to do a couple of things like farmers market and stuff like that. And I said, well, I also need to go to a couple of quilt shops, and this time I went to the ones closest to me. And I was telling her that I need to get some stuff for my sister. She goes, oh, I want to go with you. I'll do that. So we went to 2 different quilt shops, and we also went to a Joann Fabrics. So this is not a book, but I got this at Joann Fabrics, and some of you who knit will appreciate this. You may have even already seen it before. It says procrastinating, a verb to defer all other activities besides knitting. So that's pretty awesome. It's double-sided. It has the same thing on both sides. And I thought it was super cute. I love bags, and I had to get it. So then now, on Saturday, I went to kind of the Orlando area. This was the first Saturday in September. And one of the stores she wanted me to go to was up in Maitland. And I knew that there is a used bookstore not very far from the sewing shop that I was going to be going to. And it's a store called Bright Light Books. And I've been there several times. And they have an outlet store or an overstock store down the street from their main store that's only open on Saturday. So I thought, wow, if I go to get the stuff for my sister on a Saturday, I can also hit that clearance store, because it's been a long time since I got to go there on a Saturday. And there is a library fairly close, and they have a library bookstore, and I thought if I can get there before like 4 o'clock, then I can shop there too. So I got what my sister needed at the quilt shop. It's more of a sewing center, but they have, they do quilting and all that there. So I went to the library first because it was the closest, and I did not know till I got there that the first Saturday of the month, they do half off everything in the store. That's awesome. So I don't even remember for sure now which books I got at the library store and which ones I got at the outlet bookstore. But I think I kind of know. So first, let me show you a few books I got at the library store that I'm going to give as prizes that are giveaways. So you guys know about the book bowl. I read the Sunshine State books for book bowl. And what I started doing last year is collecting enough books, middle grade books appropriate for book bowl. Either they're present or past book bowl books or other books that I think the kids would enjoy. And I collected enough of those last year to give prizes to everyone on the first and second place winning teams, maybe even the third place winning team. I'm not sure. So I wanted to do the same thing this year, and I've started putting aside a couple of books. So I found some. These are all former Sunshine State books, and I'm going to give these as prizes. So I found a copy of Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan. Incidentally, if you've never read this, get the audio. It is so good. It has a music theme, so you get the music when you get the audio. It's amazing. This is one of my favorites from last year or year before. Randoms. I did really enjoy this. It's a sci-fi adventure. Then this is from maybe 3 years ago, Lions of Little Rock by Kristen Kristen Levine. This is a historical fiction set in the time of desegregation. I did also forget to mention Randoms is by David Lease. Then another Sunshine State book that I got. This is, I think, from last year, called Frenzy by Robert Lettrick, and this was the token creepy book for that year. Actually, this was year before last. It's summer camp gone wrong. All the wild animals have rabies, and I mean it's pretty horrific. It's a little bit strong for a middle grade book, but it was fairly enjoyable. And then this book I will either give as a prize if I don't have enough Sunshine State books, or if so at whatever point I feel like I've got enough of those. If I don't need this, I'll put this in my daughter's high school little free library, but it's the Maze Runner. Katie's got her own set of all of these, and this was originally $1, so I paid 50 cents for this. And all of these other books were $1, so I paid 50 cents for all of those, which is not too bad. Then for myself, the book there that I was probably most excited about, I have been looking high and low and everywhere for a hardcover of the first Minnie Harper book by Erling Fowler. I just mentioned Erling Fowler because I got one of her other books, and I found it, Fool's Puzzle. I have now got all of this series in hardcover except the very most recent one, and I've seen it around. I think I just didn't want to pay the price that it was. I think I saw the last one at a library bookstore, and they wanted like $6 for it, and I thought, I think I'm gonna wait on that until I at least read some of the series. But I really wanted to find the first one in hardcover, and I've got it now, so I'm super excited about that. And then I believe all of these came from the library bookstore. I got another one of the Thomas Kincaid, Catherine Spencer Christmas books from the Cape Light series. This one is on Christmas Eve, and I believe this is book 11. This is book 1 in a series. I already had the second and the third, and I've been looking for the first one. The Case of the Missing Servant by Tarkeen Hall. The first book I got from this series, I think, is book 2. Well, it's book 2 or 3. I don't know. I have 2 and 3 now, but the title is The Case of the Deadly Butter Chicken. Who can pass up a title like that? I mean, I have no idea if I'm even going to like the book, but that title just was awesome. So this is the first book in that series, and I'm happy to have it. Then a couple of a couple of mass market paperbacks that I got at the library sale. I got a Jody Thomas book called The Texan's Dream. I'm not familiar with this series. It says, according to my book catalog, it's from the McLean series, that it's book 5. I have looked through, Jody Thomas's catalog, all of her books on Goodreads. I don't remember seeing anything about a McLean series, but apparently there is one. So this is it. And then I found one of the Whispering Mountains books that I already have read, but I didn't have it. This is book 3, I believe. Yes, book 3, Tall, Dark, and Texan. I don't have books 1 and 2, even though I've read those. So if I find them at a good price, I will go ahead and grab them and just, complete my collection of those. And then possibly I'll pass the whole collection on to someone else, my sister or whoever, when I'm done with those. Then I think all the rest of these came, no, actually, I think the rest of these came from the bookstore, but no, I believe I got here's a few more mass market paperbacks. Here's another one by Jody Thomas called One Texas Night. I think this may be a standalone, but I won't swear to it. I forgot to look it up. So anyway, it's another one of her cowboy stories. Almost all, if not all, of her books are set in Texas, and I've just really thoroughly enjoyed almost all of them that I have read. I think there's only one of her books so far that I had some issues with, but I've really enjoyed her writing. Then I got 2 books by Lori Wilde. I decided to go ahead and get these Twilight Texas novels. I read the first one and I wasn't thrilled with it, but then I picked up a couple more that I just couldn't resist. The covers and the titles were great, and I thought, okay, I'm going to revisit that series again. The first book in this series is called The Sweetheart Knitting Club, and I've read it. I don't own it, but I went ahead and picked these up. This is called Cowboy, It's Cold Outside, and I'll Be Home for Christmas. Both are part of the same series. Not all the books in this series are Christmas. These 2 just happen to be. So I got those. That was all from that series that I could find that I didn't already have. Then I got another book. This is going to be a door prize for next month's Mystery Book Club, because we are reading the first Inspector Lindley novel by Elizabeth George called A Great Deliverance. And this is not the second one. I always like to try to get the second book, but I couldn't find it. And I did find this one. It's called Believing the Lie. And I think I did get this at Bright Light Books. Okay, so this came from the Bright Light Bookstore. It had a regular price of $3.99, but it was in the dollar section, so I only paid $1 for this. Then I think the rest of these all came from Bright Light Books. This one, it has a sticker from the library, but I'm almost positive I got this at Bright Light Books. This is from the Cahill's versus Vespers series, which is a spin-off series of the 39 Clues. This is book 5. It's called Trust No One. It's by Linda Sue Park. And I've read the first 4 of these. There's 6 in this particular spin-off series. I already sent the first 4 to my sister's grandson Tate, along with the original 39 Clues series. And so I need to read 5 and 6. And I saw that they had book 6 at my used bookstore that I sometimes go to that's in our county. It's like 40 minutes away from here. I didn't buy it yet, though, because I thought, I don't want to buy that one until I'm sure I can get book 5. Well, so now, watch. I'll go back and they'll have sold it, but I hope not. I hope it's still there. So this is book 5. I got to get book 6. I'm going to read them and then send those on to him to complete his collection. Now, I believe all the rest of these, as I said, came from the clearance store that is affiliated with Bright Light Books. And I showed you the Lumbee lines earlier, so I've kind of now been, having my eyes open for more from that series, and I found 2 more. I found book 2, which is called Stealing Lumbee. And then I didn't find book 3, but they had book 4 called The Promise of Lumbee, and I got these for $1 each, so I couldn't pass those up. 3 more. I got one from the Tales from Grace Chapel Inn series. It's called Midsummer Melody, and it's by Rebecca Kelly. I don't know what number this is, but I did not have this one. And then I got a Sally Goldenbaum Seaside Knitters mystery, A Fatal Fleece. I still need to find book 2 and 3 of this series. This is book 6. I have now 6 out of the first 10, and I need books 2 and 3. I need to go ahead and get started with the first one. I've heard the series is really good. So anyway, I just went ahead and grabbed it. At the time, I wasn't sure which number it was, but I knew I didn't have it. And then the last one, I believe, from this book haul is the only standalone book that I got. I really don't know anything about it, but it looks like it's a book about books. I think I've heard a few booktubers talking about it. It is The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan, and it just looks fun. So I hope that it's something I'll like. It's got, I thought maybe it was an award sticker, but no, it just says HarperCollins 200 Years. So anyway, it looks like something that I would definitely take a second look at. And if you know anything about it, let me know. So that's all I got for the months of August and September. I don't know that I'll get any more in the month of September, so I decided, since I've already put this book haul off since the beginning of the month, that I needed to go ahead and get this done so I can get these books put away. And that's it. Oh no, it's not it. I found one more. I got this at the Bright Light Bookstore. It was $1. And I got it home and found that it's book 7 in the series, but I'm getting ready to read book 1. If I don't like it for whatever reason, I might pass it on to someone else or try to maybe sell it at my used bookstore and get credit for it. It's The Cat, the Sneak, and the Secret. The first book is The Cat, the Quilt, and the Corpse, which we are reading right now in the Book 1 Cozies Club. So I've got it checked out from the library, and I'm going to read it soon, and then I'll decide whether I'm going to hang on to this one or not. I just recognized that it was from that same series. It's by Leanne Sweeney, and so I went ahead and grabbed it. So that, I believe, is all that I have to show you for this haul. So I hope that you have had a fun month. I have not, done the huge amount of book shopping that I sometimes do, but I needed to slow down anyway. If you followed any of my book unhaul stuff from the summer, my book purging project, you know that I already purged a little over 200 books from my shelves, and still just barely have enough room for what I have. So I tried to keep it to series and books that books within series that I was already collecting. With a few exceptions, of course. So anyway, I'm rambling. That's all I have for this video. I hope you are having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.